everybody's doing 3.5, so I think it's...
Yeah, except this guy down here that's getting ready to take off at 1.7.
Editing flying videos takes the most work. That's why I haven't really done that many.
Really?
Yeah.
And why is that?
Well, I have 5 cameras going.
Oh.
I have to sync 5 cameras. I have to pick 5 camera angles.
Oh, yeah.
You know. All right, guys. I have Nick Olson here. Nick has a beautiful Cardinal that you've totally renovated from ship to stern or whatever.
That's right.
And Nick, you've never flown a 210?
I have not.
Okay, so
I've never flown in a 210.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, well, Lola's happy to have you here.
Thank you, Lola.
You know, when I was getting into the 210, I knew I was going to buy a 210. A retract Cardinal is what I flew to build complex time.
Right.
They're actually fairly similar, and other than just it's bigger, a little more powerful, and a little more front end heavy. You don't sit back kind of as low to the ground as you do in a Cardinal, so sight picture's a little different. But all right, let's get we'll get started here. All right, clear.
Clear prop.
All right, keep it going. Okay, go ahead and just start it. I don't think you need to prime it now. There we go.
So Alliance was taken off 30 northbound.
Runway 35.
Yeah. So everybody's doing 3.5, so I think it's...
Yeah, except this guy down here that's getting ready to take off at
Cirrus?
1.7. So yeah, if we do 3.5, we'll cut just across the corner of it. It's
well, we should be out. We should be...
Yeah, it's kind of nice to call them just to, you know, let them know that we're out on the edge of
they're loaded and back up. Oh, he's going north.
Left downwind 35, number 2.
The weather is 010
No, he's going
and 5.
south too.
Well, but somebody's landing north.
Warrior 36355, left base, runway 35, full stop.
Oh, he's not.
I personally would go 3.5 because we got a 010. And
yeah.
It's not much of a wind, but it's 5 knots. So let the Cirrus do what he wants to do.
Northwest Regional traffic, Cirrus 730 Hotel Bravo. I was going to depart 17, but I'm up here at the departure in 17, so I'll wait for you guys to come in.
All right.
Copy. And northwest, be advised, DFW and it looks like Alliance are both in a north slope.
Yeah.
Northwest traffic, Warrior 36355, turning final.
And even the wind there is showing.
Stop.
Yeah.
Northwest traffic.
Okay, so...
they are, but you're going to have a slight tailwind here looking at the windsock.
That's not what I show here with the...
Criminal 50, Papa, left base 35.
That dihedral
is not working?
up.
And where
It should have a big X on it. Windsock.
I see it down at the other end. It's drooping. There's no... It's just no wind.
Yeah, plus everything is so protected by hangars on both sides. Can't really depend on
we've got our frequency set, flight plan set. Whenever you're ready to taxi, whatever the procedure is, feel free.
Northwest traffic, Centurion 4620 Yankee is taxiing from fuel pumps to 35, crossing at Bravo.
We got a plane inbound.
Northwest Regional Experimental 50, Papa back taxi 35 for Charlie 1, Northwest.
He's back taxiing.
What is this guy going to do?
He's waiting for everybody. Here, I'll call it. Northwest Regional Centurion, we're going to back taxi to Bravo. So we're crossing 35.
Northwest Regional Experimental 50, Papa is clear 35.
Northwest Regional traffic, Cirrus 730 Hotel Bravo is departing 17, Northwest Regional.
Northwest Regional Centurion 20 Yankee is clear of 35 at Bravo.
All right.
So how did this come about?
That is a hot plate.
Okay.
So that's part of our FIKI.
Okay.
Lola is rated to fly into known ice.
Yeah.
I still don't do it, but I have used it on a couple occasions where inadvertently flown into ice, and it's come in real handy. In the meantime, it impedes vision a little bit. You kind of get used to it.
Mm-hmm.
But
does it affect your depth perception?
No, not really. Although it gives me something to blame bad landings on. So, but there's a lot of glazing on it, and I looked at replacing it when we replaced this windshield at Wingfield a couple months ago. It's like $16,000 for that little piece of plastic.
Make a left downwind, going to depart the area to the west.
So no, I'm good with it for now.
It's heated, I take it?
Yeah, so you can see the little leads going in it. Okay, so while Nick is taxiing, I want to introduce you to Nick Olson. And Nick is a friend who's in the North Texas aviation community, known and liked by many. We're going to be going to Bridgeport, which is
Southwest traffic, Sports 149 Romeo Sierra.
For some lunch.
Inbound.
I've actually never done lunch at Bridgeport.
Yeah, there are a couple of good places. There's a 50s style diner that's fun.
West Regional, be aware there's a lot of buzzards off your departure end.
I appreciate the heads up, 20 Yankee. Okay, so, all right, so that's it for cameras. We've been sitting here. Now we're going to go into critical stage of flight here. So, all right, okay, so pre-takeoff safety briefing. In the event that we don't like the takeoff, I'm going to yell my plane, and I'll take controls on any kind of emergency.
Sure.
All right, so I think that you need to know. Oh, we're rolling a little bit. You got the brakes? Yep. All right, so looking at the taxiways, I'd like to be rotating probably just past the fuel pumps.
Yep. And
our speed should be 70 on our rotate.
70, okay.
All right, manifold pressure is 36.5 is what we should be looking at there. If we're not taking off by just past the fuel pumps, I'm going to I'll take over my plane, I'm going to pull back the throttle, I'm going to aggressively brake.
Okay.
If we have trouble after taking off, we will land straight ahead into that field past the fence. Our turn back, I'd probably say with the weather, no winds, everything else, I'd say at least 800 feet. And so 800 feet puts us at
4,400.
1,400. So let's say 1,400 is our turn back altitude. Other than that, we're landing forward. All right, so pre-safety briefing. Once we take off at 70, he's going to want to go really nose high. You're going to be fighting to put the nose down. Gear is going to come up, and you pull down and up. And look for 90.
I'm looking for 90 to raise the gear? Is that
No, I'm saying you're looking for 90
to climb out.
That's to begin climbing. Then we want to get to 100 VY. 90 is VX, 100 is VY.
Okay.
But the first initial one I want to see is 100. Because what happens is this thing really wants to climb high, and you're going to be pushing on the nose. So when we hit, by the time we hit 90, you should have already had gear up.
Right.
But 90 is when you go flaps up, and that'll take some pressure off, plus you can trim.
Right.
Okay, so that's what
do you ever take off no flaps?
I do, but which you can on a Centurion is not a big deal, but you do need to add some runway to it by the book. So, all right.
All right.
Country traffic says 739.
You ready? Let's do it.
To the north inbound, through a full stop, air country traffic.
Radios? You want me to do radios?
That's fine. Sure.
Northwest traffic, Centurion 35 for a northwest west departure, Northwest Regional. Okay, nobody coming. Approach path appears clear. I like using all the runway. Good move.
Yep. Yet.
All right. So it's firewall forward on the throttle. It's a turbo, so you're not going to hurt it with the speed you do it. All right, let's go. Okay, takeoff power is set. Airspeed is alive. Looking for 70. All All right, there's 70. We're short of the fuel pumps. Now let's get that nose down a little bit. There you go. All right, and gear up. Nice.
Flaps up?
Not yet. Wait till you're 90.
Okay.
Because you're going to go nose down a little bit when you do. All right, you look good. Flaps up. Okay, we get 5 minutes at this firewall forward. 310 horsepower at the moment.
And in traffic, our department is Charlie Alpha 4 to the southeast. Some of you RDB Alpha will be going.
So for your climb checklist, it's going to be climb at 100 to 120, and probably 110 to 115 is optimal. And roll back to about 30 on your manifold pressure. That's prop. There you go. Might do a little bit of a pull first and trim it if as necessary.
All right. You have electric trim?
We do, but it'll take you forever. Yeah. There you go. There's those buzzards. You're at good climbing speed, so that's all good.
What do you want to bring it back to?
30 on your manifold pressure. Then next issue on the climb checklist, RPM to 2550. All right, let's go ahead and left turn or we're going to bust in.
We're 590, just verify runway 34 left, clear for the option.
34 left, clear for the option, 590 solo.
We are now in between both Denton and Alliance, so I'm not going to call them. There's really no reason. Not even close to either one. And we're low. Okay, so now 2550 is close, 30 is close, and bow flaps are open. The other thing is your rudder trim. So that's our coordination ball.
That's good.
So we need to step on the right. So I would rudder trim. Do you have rudder trim on the Cardinal?
I do, but I don't use it.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and let go of your rudders. And I'm going to trim it out on the rudder trim. So you don't have to. There you go. Oh, I may have gone too far.
Yeah.
Okay, here. Good. All right, no rudder input right now. There we go. Let's look. Birds. Wow, little birds. But how does this compare to your Cardinal?
It's a completely different feel. Just the weight.
The heavier plane, for sure.
Yeah.
But a lot more power, too.
Right.
You're at 200 horsepower?
200, yeah.
Yeah, so you took off at 310.
Yeah. So, I noticed the weight more than I did the power, frankly. But the challenge, obviously, is all of this. It's foreign to me.
Right.
Haven't used a 430 in 17 years.
Yeah.
And I've never used the
Aspen. So yeah, this stuff. If all it was sticking a rudder, you'd be fine.
Yeah, or if we had my Garmin.
Yeah, or the avionics you're used to. That's for sure. When I tell everybody about our sponsors, I tell them about Flying Eyes. You're wearing Flying Eyes.
Right.
I tell them about Colton Mortgage.
Yep.
I also tell them about this company called Marshall Protective Services. Do you know anything about that?
I've heard of that company. And what I know is that they are a private security company that provides armed security services, private investigations, bodyguard service, and anything related to physical security.
All right, that's pretty amazing. Now, obviously, I'm tongue-in-cheek on this because Nick is the owner of Marshall Protective Services, but Nick, what I really appreciate, I think, the most about you, I told you when you initiated contact with me,
right,
you just wanted to support the program.
Exactly.
And I'm not the only one I found out that you're supporting. You're supporting Brian at Just Plain Silly.
Right.
Why do you feel
a member of AVFC, Arrow Valley Flying Club.
Nice. Why do you put back into the aviation community? What's your reasoning?
Well, in the first place, I just love aviation. I love the people in aviation. I love to be with the people in aviation. I like to socialize with other aviators. And, that's my personal selfishness. But by the same token, I also am concerned about the future of general aviation and recruiting, bringing younger people into aviation to keep things going. I'm afraid that general aviation is going to outgrow people's ability to get involved. And so it's about two things. It's about one, I just like hanging with aviators, and two, I want to do anything I can to support getting more young people, more people in general. I don't have to be young. I mean, I got my private license at 58.
Oh, wow. I thought I was old at 50 when I got mine.
So
I didn't even talk to you about, we've added Bailey to our team.
Right.
Because I wanted to reach the younger audience.
Right.
I realized that, the people watching our channel are skewing a lot older, and so I really would like to reach the young people, so that's why I'm bringing more Bailey videos.
Yeah, and that's great. Bailey is just such an extraordinary young lady.
She's going to be a rock star.
Yeah, she is. Well, she is already.
Yeah, she is.
And I just think that's wonderful. As far as sponsoring Taking Off, the first couple of episodes that I watched, I said, I like what these people are doing, and I need to support that, and so that's why I called you that day.
Well, we just appreciate so much your support. I'm going to make a call. Bridgeport traffic, Centurion 4620 Yankee, 6 miles to the east. We're going to enter the left downwind for 18 Bridgeport. Okay, I only show one plane in the area, and he's 3,700 feet above us, descending. But
Bridgeport traffic, Cessna 0 Uniform Charlie, taxiing to 18. Bridgeport traffic.
Okay, so we've got one taxiing to 18, and I don't really see anybody else. Okay. All right, so let's. Thanks for supporting us, and now we'll get back to our critical phase of flight. Let's get ready to land.
Okay.
So our before landing checklist is going to be. I've got it.
Okay.
So, lighting is desired. We've got strobes on. We'll leave that on. Seatbelts are secure. Fuel tank on the desired tank. Let's just leave it there. We know it works. Mixture's going to be rich. Prop's going to be rich, but I wouldn't do it yet. And then cowl doors are open, and we're going to gear down and gumps and all that. I personally will, as I enter the downwind, I do it the same way every time. That's when I drop gear. Gear drop speed is 165 and below for the Centurion.
So we're good.
Yeah. So, you now can see the airport, right? You have it?
Right.
Okay. Bridgeport traffic, Centurion entering left downwind, 18 Bridgeport. Okay, so now that we're entering the downwind, I'm good for dropping gear.
Okay. Gear down.
We're at 132. Now, I look...
The nose up.
And then I'll do one notch of flaps right now. That'll help keep the nose. And then I look out my window. You got a gear?
Got a gear.
Got a green light?
Got a green light.
And then the mirror shows you the other two out here. Yep. All right, so there you go. Now, 1,700 is our pattern altitude, so we probably need to go ahead and I would...
down a bunch.
Yeah, so I'd go ahead and pull the power pretty much all the way back.
444, turning right, final for runway 36.
So, and also, we'll extend our downwind a little bit so that we can get down to the right altitude. You're doing fine on altitude. I'd go ahead and give it a little bit more power. Don't get below 85. That's our key speed and for now until you're on landing. All right, look good. Bridgeport traffic, Centurion, left base 18 Bridgeport. I'd give it some power. You're going to start sinking. Power plant. Birds, lots of birds today.
Well, I'm sorry. Other the grid flaps.
All right, you can go to your second notch if you want.
Hey, Bridgeport traffic, Allen Seminole is 5 miles north inbound on the practice RNAV, Bridgeport.
All right, so we got somebody coming in 5 miles north on the RNAV. So don't worry about them. Give yourself a little bit more time to turn than a Cardinal. Yeah, I'd start your turn to final now. Bridgeport traffic, Centurion turning final, 18 Bridgeport. All right, so Gumps, gas is on. Right. Undercarriage is good. Mixture and prop all the way in. All right, Gumps check. Yeah, we're high, so I would now throttle controls altitude, so I'd pull that out. Keep that nose point to the ground. Your speed's a little slow, so let's nose down a little bit more. And just work your way left. Nice long runway, so okay for high. Airspeed's good. Everything looks good.
Hey, Bridgeport traffic, Allen Seminole, 3 mile final, runway 18 Bridgeport.
Okay. We're a little fast, so now you can nose up a little bit, just a little. Let it settle here, and then begin your flare about now. All right. Oh, you don't have to brake that hard. I don't want to go through the pads that quick. All right, good landing. But we can try to pull off here at Echo. Oh, we do have, yeah, just so you know, it does shimmy quite a bit. That's normal. All right, good. Nick, I'm so glad. Again, thank you for your support of the channel.
Oh, absolutely. It's my pleasure.
I mean, I'm not anticipating, you weren't anticipating that you'd get business from sponsoring the channel. You're just doing it because you're supporting it.
Absolutely.
And I think that's awesome. But anybody in North Texas that needs armed protective services, they need to call you guys.
That would be great.
Yeah. All right.
MPSprotects.com.
MPS Protects. And it's Marshall Protective Services, not Protection Service.
Right, correct.
It's 1L too, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, that's the other thing I noticed, 1L. All right, so, and also Flying Eyes, use our code Taking Off for 10% off, and Colton Mortgage, ColtonTakingOff.com. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time on Taking Off.
Hey, Bridgeport traffic, Allen Seminole, 1 around, we're